What's going on, guys? This is Chris with Dude Food GF. Today's recipe, orange chicken. Why orange chicken? This is one of the first recipes we lose whenever our kids are diagnosed with celiac. So we're gonna break it down. We're gonna make a celiac safe, gluten-free orange chicken tonight. We're gonna pair that with just some regular steamed rice and steamed broccoli. That way everyone can get what they need. So the first thing that we need to do to kick this off is, of course, make our rice. So I've got about 3 cups of medium grain rice. We're gonna go ahead and wash this, okay? You need to wash it about 3 times. Don't just put water in here and don't just start to cook it. You will upset the gods of Gohan. You need to wash your rice. So let's go ahead and wash it. All right, guys, so we've got our rice washed 3 times. What we're looking for is the water to be just a little bit cloudy, but you can actually start to see the rice go through it. So this is what our consistency is looking at. The next is, in order to make sure you have the right ratio of rice to water, you're looking at about a 2-to-1 ratio. For every 2 cups of water, 1 cup of rice. Or what you can do is take that first finger, this first knuckle, this first seam, it's a perfect water check. Put your rice in your bowl, go ahead and take your finger, and if it comes up to that first knuckle, you're gonna be good. Now, you can see behind us, we're actually gonna use a rice cooker today. My family and I, we almost exclusively eat rice as our grain, so it is one of the best go-to grains whenever you're just setting out to learn how to cook gluten-free, celiac-safe meals. Rice, by all means. But you can also do this on the stovetop. You can go ahead and use a regular pot. You're going to go ahead and put in 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water after you've washed it. You're going to go ahead and turn it on to medium-low and just let that steam for 20 or 30 minutes. You're going to want to check, because depending on where you live, the water will last or not last as long. If you live in a drier climate, the water is going to evaporate quicker. So we're going to go ahead and press a button. We're going to use that. Again, I would highly recommend finding a rice cooker if you want to. All right, next thing, we're gonna have to go ahead and prep our chicken, but before we do that, we need to go ahead and heat our oil up. So we're gonna take our wok, we're gonna turn this on to medium high, and we're gonna put in about 2 cups of oil. Now, that is a lot of oil, guys, and for us, we will actually save it to use it at a different time. But if you also want to, you can use this exact same recipe and sub out a air fryer for a wok of oil. The air fryer can just be set to 400 degrees, coat your chicken in a little bit of oil, you can cook it that way. But for right now, let's go ahead and break down our chicken. So what you're gonna need is about 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken meat, whether you use boneless chicken thighs or boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Either way, go ahead and grab those. Let's grab a cutting board and a knife. So to break these down, like I said, just small chicken thighs. We normally cut off the excess fat. And then we're gonna cut these down into about 3/4 of an inch. You call them nuggets, bite-sized pieces, or anything like that. So we'll just shave these down. About like that. For me, I can use my thumb, but I also recognize that I'm 6'3", so my thumb might be slightly bigger than anyone or other people. So about 3/4 of an inch. Awesome. Now, once that's done, go ahead and get it out of the way. We'll save our chicken here for later. We'll go inside our cutting board aside to go ahead and wash. And the next thing we need to do is we need to work on an egg wash. So egg wash is pretty simple. We're just going to end up using 2 eggs and about a 1/2 cup of milk. So let's grab those real fast. All right, guys, so just 2 eggs, 1, and 2. To that, you're going to add about a 1/2 cup of milk. And then we're just going to go ahead and whisk to combine. We just generally use a fork. You just want to make sure that this is as homogeneous as you can get it. Okay. Once the egg wash is done and you have everything kind of homogenized, has that nice scrambled egg look to it, we're going to go ahead and set this aside and put some of our chicken in there. So we can go ahead and put maybe 1 handful, maybe 2 handfuls in there. While that starts to soak up in the egg wash, we're gonna go ahead and wash our hands. So after we're done, what we're looking for now is our breading. Now, a lot of times when we make the switch from a gluten house to a gluten-free house with a celiac kid, is we are forced to buy celiac safe flour, so gluten-free flours, which can be very, very expensive. What we found around here is one of the best ways to have a crispy coating that is not that expensive. We actually end up using gluten-free Rice Krispies. So that's all these are, guys, just 8 cups of gluten-free Rice Krispies. Now, early on, what you can do is you can put this into a gallon bag. You can go ahead and grind them and pound them down with a rolling pin. But I will tell you one of these secrets is that the best thing you can do is invest in a good blender. We're going to take 8 cups of Rice Krispies and we're just going to put them in the blender. We'll blend that up and then we'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, so we blended these up and you will be surprised at what it shrinks down to. So 8 cups of Rice Krispies really only gives you about maybe 2 cups of powder. So this is what we're going to use as our breading. So let's go ahead and set that up real fast. So what we'll do is you'll grab a bowl, go ahead and dump just a little bit of the breadcrumbs in. I do know that they're not really breadcrumbs, but that vernacular has stayed with me. Then, using a slotted spoon, go ahead and take your chicken that you've had sitting in your egg wash and just carefully place these into your bowl. Try not to drip on your countertop. So, alrighty guys, so what we have here is we have our chicken sitting in just a layer of breadcrumbs. Now we're gonna coat this a little bit at a time. Now why a little bit at a time? Because we want texture. If you put too many crushed Rice Krispies here at once, what's gonna happen is it's gonna coat it in a very fine mesh and you're not gonna get those crunchy bits, those textured bits. So let's go ahead and put a little bit more in there and then toss them. Instead of using a lid, I'll just take a regular dinner plate and just give it a quick shake. So after that, we can see that these are actually kind of clumped together. So this clumping is actually what's going to be, in my opinion, a little bit better. But we can still see we have some bits in here that aren't totally breaded. So let's go ahead, break them up, and let's go ahead and add a little bit more. So we'll add a little bit more to this. Shake it up again. And you know what? Once they're kind of coated, you can feel free to reach your hand in there and just make sure that they're squeezed a little bit and they have some good texture on them. Like I said, don't put everything in here right away because you're going to lose some of that texture. So we're looking for something right about this. All these crispy bits are going to come out perfect. So let's go ahead and cook this chicken. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and set up the wok right now. We have our 2 cups of oil in there. We're hitting about 350 degrees. Let's go ahead and fry the chicken. So when you're dropping these in, be careful. If you drop them in too fast, they will splatter and it will catch you. Other thing I can tell you is whenever you're laying these into oil, try your best to lay them from you, away from you. So starting in the front of the wok towards the back. That way, if it does splatter, it splatters away from you. All right, we're gonna go ahead and cook this for 2 minutes, and then we're gonna check. We'll be back in, I don't know, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. You know already, guys, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and check in on our chicken. So one thing I can't say, though, enough good things about is a little spider. This comes in handy whenever you're doing oiled foods. I mean, frying chicken nuggets, orange chicken, anything like that. I'd grab one of these. Let's take a look at our chicken. Okay, so that's almost perfect. We have a nice deep golden brown. We're gonna go ahead and grab a wired or a baking sheet with a wire rack on it. We're gonna go ahead and scoop these out. Why? Because we're gonna have to work in batches. With 2 daughters at home, I can only imagine how much food some of you guys have to make that have 3 or 4 kids at home. And one of the best things about this recipe is that even though it is gluten-free and celiac safe, it is not selective. Everyone loves these things. So now that we have this done, let's go ahead and make our sauce. Alrighty guys, so we've got our chicken nuggets done. I apologize, not chicken nuggets. We've got our orange chicken done. We're gonna go ahead and set these into a oven at about 250 before we make our sauce and steam our broccoli. So let me just pop these in there real quick. Alrighty guys, so to steam our broccoli, it's pretty simple. We're gonna go ahead and use about 2 cups of fresh broccoli. This is just the florets. And we're also gonna use a strainer in one of our pots. So we'll just take the strainer, put our broccoli in there. And guys, this is not a chef show. Not everything fits. We're not cooking for a 5-star chef. We're cooking for our kids who can't eat this out. So even though it doesn't fit, we're gonna go ahead and steam it like that for about 5 to 7 minutes. Check back and see how it tastes and the firmness of that broccoli. But let's also dive into the sauce. Now, a word of caution, before you make this recipe, there are 2 unique ingredients that we use in this sauce. One is not so unique, just sesame oil. The other one is an arrowroot water mix. This is our thickening agent. It's a thickening agent that we found is safest and helps us the most with my daughter's celiac. So let's go over what we need. First thing you're gonna need for our orange sauce is you're gonna need about a 1/4 cup of honey and a 1/4 cup of vinegar, rice vinegar. Then you're gonna need about a 1/4 cup of orange juice, about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and then just a teaspoon of regular veggie oil. To that, we'll eventually add our spices. This is gonna end up being 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 3/4 of a teaspoon of ginger, and then about a tablespoon of garlic. And finally, like I mentioned earlier, this is going to end up being our thickening agent. This is 1 teaspoon of arrowroot whisked in 2 tablespoons of water. So let's go ahead and cook this over medium-low heat and let's see what we have. All right, guys, so first goes in our 1/4 cup of honey, our 1/4 cup of vinegar. And that honey is going to want to stay behind, so make sure you get it all out. Awesome. Then we're going to go ahead and put in our 1/4 cup of orange juice, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and our teaspoon of oil. We're going to actually let that warm up a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and put the rest of our spices and our thickening agent in. So we'll let that warm up for about 3 or 4 minutes. Alrighty guys, so it looks like our sauce is simmering. Let's go ahead and put in our spices. Go ahead and stir that around. You'll notice that I am using the wrong end of a wooden spoon. This just allows to kind of get into those cracks and crevices of the pan. What we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna wait to see a simmer, bubbles boiling around the edge of the pot. When that happens, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our arrowroot and water mixture in there. So as we just stay here for just a couple seconds, because it will bring back to a simmer, like right there. I don't know if you guys can see that very easily, but that simmer is what you're looking for. That, we're gonna go ahead and add the arrowroot, 1 teaspoon arrowroot, 2 tablespoons water. We're gonna bring that back up to a simmer. About right there. Now we're gonna kill the heat. To finish it off, we're gonna go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of fresh sesame oil. There we go. Alrighty guys, so we've got that orange sauce going, that's simmering for a little bit. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pull our chicken back out and go ahead and toss them in the sauce. They've been sitting in a 250-degree oven. So once again, for our sauce, guys, you're looking at a 1/4 cup honey and a 1/4 cup vinegar. Then to that, you're gonna add 1 teaspoon of veggie oil. You're gonna add a 1/4 cup of orange juice, and you're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Your spices are gonna be a 1/4 cup brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 3/4 teaspoons of ginger, and 1 tablespoon of garlic. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our broccoli real quick and see what we have so far. Just toss it a little bit, guys. This is one of our go-to veggies. We all love it. They're still a little firm, so we're gonna let them go for another couple minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna go and switch out our burners. We're gonna take our saucepan, we're We're gonna go ahead and put that on the back. We're gonna go ahead and take our wok. We're gonna bring our wok back forward. We're gonna let the wok start to heat up while we go ahead and chicken. Looks like our burner's not lighting. It's lit now. Alrighty. Once you get your chicken out, and you'll see, guys, I have a lot of chicken. My family and I love this. We have a family of 4, and we always try and have leftovers. So working in small batches, you can go ahead and feed a family of 4, a family of 6, or anything like that. So let's go ahead and load this up into the wok. And like I said, guys, I know it's a lot of chicken. It's a lot of chicken for normal folks. And when I say normal folks, anyone out there who has a teenager knows that there's never enough food in the house. So let's go ahead and add our sauce there. Give it a quick stir, make sure everything's still incorporated. And then go ahead and toss that. Alrighty. We'll check behind us, see if our rice is done. Our rice is done. Let's go ahead and get this onto the table. Alrighty, guys, so there we have it. We have orange chicken with white rice and steamed broccoli. This is one of the best meals my family loves, and it was one of the best recipes to recoup after we learned about celiac. So guys, enjoy. Have a good one. We'll catch you next week.